Hey guys, it is MissSimReno. If you are returning to the channel, welcome back. And if you're brand new, I am very excited that you decided to join me here today for another speed build. And we are again building in winter because it's not officially winter. I think the first day of winter technically is like December 22nd or something. But it has not snowed where I am yet, but the temperatures are a bit frigid and I am starting to get into the holiday spirit. So we are building a family home and it's a pretty decent sized home, I would say. It's bigger than I was anticipating, but that's all right. And we are decorating it for the holidays. Now, when I say holidays, I mean all of the holidays. So I included a Christmas tree, there is a menorah, and then there's also I think it's called the Kinara for Kwanzaa. Please correct me if I am wrong. I am not good with pronunciation, but I used all of the holiday items that I could possibly use that we had in The Sims 4 because I wanted this to be just decorated for the holidays, and it's not overly done in my opinion. Like, I didn't go absolutely nuts and just make everything green and red, for example, for Christmas. I didn't hang garlands everywhere. There's maybe like a few holiday candles, and there's a hint at that Christmas color scheme, I suppose. But again, I didn't really go overboard with it, at least I don't think. And the thought was that way you can pull back those holiday decorations and still feel as though you have a just regularly decorated family home to utilize if you wanted to. I wanted it to be less intensive for you if you wanted to adjust things, but you can see that the exterior is coming together at this point. It is a very standard shape of home that I've used many a time before, but I was working off of this particular reference image, which I will put on screen for you right now if I kept it, which I believe I did. If I did, I will put it on screen. But I quite literally went on Google Images and I was like, winter home, and this was one of the first things that came up. So I went with it. I really liked the shape. I could really envision it, and I thought it would be a fun challenge for me to use a combination of sidings and stone textures because I don't typically do that. I feel like I'm really bad at it. I don't know what works well together. I don't know what matches. I don't know what complements one thing or the other. So that's what I spent a majority of my time trying to figure out, was really the combination of like brick and stone and siding, and how to, I don't know, really define those differences too. So I used some columns to really do that with some of the bay window areas in the front. And I thought it was really cool to use these red flower boxes to kind of pop amongst the snow. Now, it's a little bit odd. You probably noticed it as I was placing them down, but I don't know what it is, depending on exactly where they were placed on the side of this home. Sometimes they were covered in snow and sometimes they weren't. And I think even in the thumbnail for this build that I've already finalized, I can't remember for certain, but I feel like some of them had snow on them and some of them didn't. It's really odd. I don't know. It's just Sims. It's the physics. I don't get it. It's fine. But I thought that the red flower boxes were really pretty and really complemented the build itself in providing some contrast, but also it kind of signified like this house is ready for the holidays. That at least it did to me. I don't know. But I'm also trying to figure out a fence here in the front, and I tried a ton of different fences. I ended up going into the debug menu and finding this stone fence from the base game debug menu, and I used it to outline the entire home. I do a little bit of it later on in the video, but I pretty much finalized like the front because I wanted there to be a separation. I think especially with the snow, typically there would just be a separation with the grass texture of the lot and the sidewalk, which sometimes is enough for me. I feel like I can landscape close to the edge of the sidewalk and still have it look as though the lot blends into the world. But I think with the snow, it made it a little bit more difficult because there's no like defined end until you just dip into the street. So I wanted to really define the edge of the lot here. And then I decided to start landscaping, which is very difficult in winter. I don't think I'm very good at landscaping in the winter. I do not know what this looks like in other seasons because I did not change the season to find out, but I kind of sort of know what these plants will look like when they're not dead in winter, so hopefully it looks okay. Hopefully a lot of these plants don't grow into the side of the house. If they do, I apologize. You might just have to shuffle them on over, get them away from the side of the house. Or just redo the landscaping to your liking if that's something that you wanted to do. But I'm using a combination of base game debug and get together debug because those trees from get together, Like, they really do have my heart. They're one of my favorite debug items, especially for landscaping. And if you guys didn't know, every now and then I say this, but a lot of you probably already do know. But if you don't, the debug plant items are of no cost. So they don't like skyrocket the price of a lot to like 100K or something just by laying out a bunch of flowers, which is really, really nice with the debug items. But you can see that I am just trying to see if I want to frame up against the fence a little bit. I decided against it because it just seemed a bit too crowded and I wanted there to be a significant backyard. But now we are moving on to the interior. And we do a floor plan that I've probably done 1,000,001 times before, but I do not care. I really like this floor plan, and I really enjoyed the interior of this home. I feel like I mixed a few different styles, which was uncomfortable to me. I used a kitchen set, for example, a cabinet and like countertop set that I do not use at all. Like, I really do not use it. And again, I tried to have like this subtle color scheme of reds and greens, kind of complemented by some pinks, some different wood tones. And then when we get to the bedrooms, they're completely just individualized to the Sims. I didn't go with like the holiday theme in the bedrooms. I might do that at some point for a holiday build, but not this one. And you can see we're starting off with the living room because I knew I wanted the Christmas tree to be right in that bay window. It was perfect. I had to do it. So I immediately started with the living room and I really enjoyed this space. I love this couch. It is unlocked from a career in base game, if you do not know. I think it's the best couch in the game, personally. I really, truly believe this. It's the best couch, and I wish we had some more swatches because I could overuse this couch easily with the 3 swatches that we have. But I really, really like it. And then there's also a base game rug, and I used the armchair from Cottage Living that's kind of like green and teal striped, which I thought was really pretty. It complemented this rug that kind of has some reds and pinks in it. And then instead of just doing a single painting over the couch, I decided to use some shelving and I decorated it with a painting, but also a few different clutter items as well. I was thinking about using these pillows from the Little Campers kit to decorate the couch, but wasn't liking how it was looking. So I just kind of scrapped that idea and tried to figure out how I was going to lay out the rest of this living space because it was a bit of a challenge. I didn't really know how I wanted things to flow. I didn't know how many like seating areas I wanted there to be. And with this fireplace from Cats and Dogs, I also wasn't sure if I was going to put a TV in the living space. I thought I might put a holiday themed painting on the mantle or something like that, but I think I end up putting a TV. It's just a smaller one. And I also used, I'm going to call it a little footstool. I know it's technically a chair, but it's from Cats and Dogs in that bright red. It's so pretty. So this chair technically isn't usable, the armchair, but your Sim could sit on the little footstool there. It's still technically a seat, but I just really liked how it looked. So just know it's partially functional. It's not fully functional, but I am now placing a TV up on the mantle. And then I end up putting a coffee table, this one from Get Famous. It's one of my favorite coffee tables. And I would use it in every build if I can do whatever I want, but I don't want to do that. I have an impulse to use it in every single build, but I finally used it here because I haven't used it in a long time. And then I just added a few different clutter pieces as well, and then started hanging up some sconces, picking some overhead lights. This overhead light from Cottage Living, it's gotta be my favorite overhead light. I might overuse it. If I do, just tell me. But I really enjoy it. I think it fits into so many different kinds of builds. And now we're moving on to the bathroom downstairs, which is a pretty decent size. I was thinking about making it kind of like a shared bathroom laundry space, but I really liked the idea of a bigger full bathroom. Typically my bathrooms are 2x3 and it fits everything that you need, but they're very, very constricted. So here I decided to do a double sink. You've got the toilet, of course, and you have a shower tub combo. And then there's also going to be a little like linen storage thing. I think the one from Seasons I put up against the wall near the door. So there's like, extra towels and lotions and things like that theoretically your Sims would be able to use and store there. But I really like this bathroom, and it's kind of nice that it's this size because there is a bedroom on this first floor. I believe this is the only bathroom on the first floor though too. So it's not only for guests who might be over the home, but I think it's primarily used by the Sim whose bathroom is on the first floor too, which is one of the teens. I haven't even talked about this family. I was envisioning a family with 2 teenagers. That's the family. So it's the parents and then 2 teenagers, and they do have separate bedrooms, which is really, really nice. One of them is downstairs on the first floor, and the other is upstairs with the parents' bedroom on the second floor. But we were working on the kitchen, and I was really, really trying to use this gray swatch of the Parenthood cabinets and countertops. It's probably my favorite countertop in general, the Parenthood ones, but I was trying to use the gray swatch because I thought it might kind of mute things and calm things down a little bit, but I really ended up disliking it, and it wasn't bringing the brightness and the joy that I wanted to bring to this build. Like, I was trying to emulate just the warm, cozy, bright feeling that I got in the living space, and I was not hitting the mark at all. It really wasn't. I was kind of disappointed. I got a little bit frustrated, actually, with the kitchen, because it's a kitchen and shared dining space, and with only 4 Sims in the household, but still, with 4 Sims in the household, I wanted everyone to be able to sit at the table, and this is when I decided, you know what, I'm using these countertops from the Cool Kitchen Stuff Pack? Yes, the Cool Kitchen Stuff Pack. The only reason I typically don't use them is, number one, I'm not a huge fan of all the swatches, but all of the overhead cabinets are glass paneled, so you can see into every single one. So what did I do? I took another cabinet and I merged it inside of the one that I'd already put up, but I flipped it around. I flipped it so they look closed. Since your Sims can't use them anyway, it doesn't matter. I flipped them so it looks as though they're not all open, and it brought me so much joy. I was so happy. I don't know why I haven't done this before. I'll probably use these counters and cabinets a lot more now because I figured out this trick. I didn't necessarily have to use the tool mod to do it either. I did use the tool mod, but you don't necessarily have to. You can just kind of place them there using the Control 9 key or 0 key to like raise them up and down if you want them to fit just right. But I thought it looked so, so nice, and it brought those lighter, warmer, like honey colored wood tones into the build. I think it complemented the floors that I use as well as the curtains, and it allowed me to use these lighter wood toned chairs for the dining table. It almost looks like gold with the overhead lights too. So I was just so happy with it. I was really, really thrilled. I ended up really enjoying the kitchen and dining space as it came together. It allowed me to play with so many different wood tones. I added different clutter items that I might not normally do, and it just ended up being a super cozy space and a pretty decent size. Now, the only downfall is the 2 dining chairs closest to the windows there. I do not believe that your Sim can get to those chairs. They might be able to do so if they sit at the chair at the end of the table and then get up on that side, but it might not work, but it at least sits the 4 people that actually live in this house. So I kind of made that sacrifice. You could of course change it if you want to, but I added a little shelf over there and I hung up the aprons. This is where I added the Kinara. Again, if I'm pronouncing this wrong or if I have the wrong name for some embarrassing reason, please tell me in the comments down below, because I've actually been meaning to learn more about Kwanzaa. I don't know very much about that holiday and I really want to learn. So if there are any like fun traditions that you all are aware of that you could share with me, that would be so cool. I would love that so, so much. And actually, like growing up, so my family always celebrated Christmas, but I do remember as a child, my mom did get a menorah at one point, and there were a span of like a couple of years where we actually lit the menorah and kind of celebrated more of the Hanukkah traditions alongside the Christmas traditions. It was just really nice as a young kid to kind of be exposed to all of that and learn to kind of appreciate different religious recognitions and traditions and things like that, different holidays. So what was your experience growing up? Did you celebrate Christmas? Did you celebrate Hanukkah? Did you celebrate Kwanzaa? Did you celebrate like all of them in some capacity? I would love to know, because I'm just fascinated and I love learning about different cultures and different religions and practices. Anyway, I ranted through the whole kitchen. I thought it was really pretty. Next, we're moving on to the front entryway where I did use... I'm ridiculous sometimes, I swear. I don't know how you guys make it through these voiceovers. But I did use this really, really cute like coat rack decoration from Snowy Escape with the skis, because it's got all like the winter gear. Thought that was so appropriate. Thought it looked really pretty here. I also used that ottoman from the High School Years pack, which I freaking love. I didn't know I loved it until I used it here, because I don't recall ever using it before. I don't think I had ever used it before. I thought it was so pretty. I actually use it again upstairs. I want to say in the same swatch. in the primary bedroom, which was really exciting to me. But I also used this console table from base game, and I placed a mirror using the tool mod to lower it a bit, the one from Seasons. And then I decorate it with a few more items that are holiday themed. Oh, and that little s'mores thing, it's from the Little Campers kit. It is not functional, which really bums me out, but I thought it was such a nice complimentary item to the holiday theme in this build. I was so excited that I remembered to put it there. If you guys also didn't know, Ravishing, who is a mod and I think CC creator as well, amazing modder. That's one thing I know. They actually made that item functional so your Sims can actually make s'mores from it. If you have not seen that mod, please go look it up. It adds just that touch of gameplay that I was looking for with some of those items from that kit. I loved it so much. I used it in my personal gameplay. It's adorable. But now we are moving on to the teens room that is downstairs here on the first floor. There is a lot of green in this room. So again, I was kind of sort of thinking of bringing in the red and green into the bedroom at first, but it ended up just going a little bit more muted, a little bit more just neutral and kind of like with your everyday color schemes or decorations. So there's a lot of like blues and greens, some blacks and grays in this room. That's kind of the theme we were going for. And I think that this teen is really into playing video games. I'm with you. Preach. Like, me too. And I think that they're really into like streaming, or they're starting to get into streaming. So they have that really cool like giant monitor and the streaming setup. I think they also have some sports gear. So I think they're just dabbling in a bunch of different interests, as kids and teens typically do. And they have like their own armchair and little gaming setup. It's like really cute. It's this armchair from Werewolves. I thought it was so cute. Maybe they got it from like the flea market or like a thrift shop or something. And then they have this little like older TV and a kind of a beat up gaming set. So maybe they pawned all this stuff. Maybe they went to like a pawn shop or a thrift shop and they got these things with, I don't know, maybe like their first paycheck from a job or something, which I thought was kind of a cute idea. But it's a decent sized room. They've got this big closet. We've got some posters hanging up around the desk area. And it was such a great opportunity to use some of the everyday clutter kit. I'm not over this kit yet. I really enjoy it. We've got the gaming headset here. And I discovered it later on. I don't even know if I filmed it because I discovered it a little bit later, like maybe once I was up on the second floor, I can't remember. But there's an item from the Everyday Clutter Kit that has, I think it's technically categorized as a stereo, which is why I didn't see it at first. But it's got like little tiny speakers and then pens and pencils and stuff. It's this cute little organizer thing. I tossed that on the desk as well, thinking that this teen would like listening to music maybe while they were gaming, or maybe while they were working out or something like that in their room. I thought it was a really cute idea, and I was so happy I found that item because I didn't know it existed at first. Even through my first sweep of the kit, I do not recall even seeing that item. So I was so happy to find it. I also gave them a cork board over here. I put some postcards up there, nothing special, nothing crazy. This is when I saw like the My Sim dolls and I started to put them around, but then I went and looked for a stereo, and I think that's when I found the one. Yep, there it is. No, I found it. The one from the Everyday Clutter Kit. I was so happy about that. I think I used it upstairs too, which is where we are now. So upstairs is going to be the primary bedroom, as well as, I want to say 2 additional bathrooms, but they're the standard size that I would make my bathrooms. So the parents do have a primary, an ensuite bathroom. And then there's another bathroom with just a shower that I think the other teen primarily uses. I was also able to make an open staircase, which was so thrilling. It was so exciting. And the reason why it's so exciting is because you have to make sure that your roofing doesn't cause an issue, because essentially if you have a roof piece in that quote unquote room that you end up making an open staircase, it'll clip right inside when you remove the floor. It's kind of a pain, but it worked out here. And the first room that we work on upstairs is going to be the primary bedroom. It started to feel very fall-esque when I chose this bed because of like the golden fall colors with the curtains. But again, I wasn't necessarily going with the holiday theme in the bedroom. I just wanted it to look really cozy. I did bring a little bit of it into the space because of that ottoman at the end, which is bright red. I was going to use the bright red armchair too, but I didn't end up using it. I used this little, again, I'm going to call it a footstool because I think I don't keep the flowers. I think I put another clutter item like a sketch pad or something like that here. So maybe one of the parents to escape their teens or something will come up and sit in this bay window area and use their little sketch pad, which I thought was a really nice kind of cozy idea. And then I used the matching end tables and wardrobe from Seasons. It's actually a very Seasons heavy bedroom now that I'm looking at it, because the bed's also from Seasons. But they have a pretty big space, so I put this wardrobe here. They've got a mirror over in the corner. And again, cluttering up this dresser with more of the everyday clutter kit. If you're on the fence about kits, because a lot of people are, and sometimes I am too. I'm only on the fence mainly because we've only had one gameplay kit. But anyway, if you're on the fence, if you are someone who maybe doesn't have a lot of packs, or if you are just looking for very small details to add to your game, especially like build and buy items, the Everyday Clutter Kit, for me personally, who loves cluttering up spaces, it's perfect. There's a nice range of items, and there's a bunch of different swatches, so you can use them in different places and different color schemes and all that. I really enjoy the kits for what they are. Am I missing stuff packs? Yes. Rest in peace stuff packs. Apparently they're gone. There's been no formal announcement they're gone, but they seem to be gone. We haven't had one in, oh my gosh, we're coming up on 2 years? The last stuff pack we had was the paranormal stuff pack, you guys. And that was like January, 2020? Oh, I don't know. I might be sad now. I'm just going to ignore it and talk about this room instead. So this is the other teen's room. This teen has a double bed, lucky for them. And their color scheme, like for the bedroom, is a little bit darker. We've got like the reds and the blues, but then we go with some blacks and some kind of medium toned woods throughout the entire decorating procedure. What? Scratch that last. I don't know. I really like this bedroom as well. It's a little bit more toned down. I almost feel as though it looks a little bit more mature compared to the teen room downstairs. But I wasn't necessarily thinking that one teen was like older than the other per se. I wasn't thinking twins either, so it could be whomever you'd want. But I do really like this room as well. They have a TV of their own. They have some posters and framed like signed things and whatnot. And then they also have a keyboard from City Living that I put in the bay window space. I do size down. This was kind of fun for me. I sized down a console table though to put behind the piano because there's this gap when you put it there, right? And I was like, I don't really like that. So I put this size down console table and I put a few different clutter items on top of it, just thinking that it was a place for this teen to try to store a few different things. Like we've got this miscellaneous stack of books. We have this little like robot light. I think I put like a box of just clutter things here too, just to try to make it look like they were a little bit more messy and they tried to just stuff it behind the keyboard so you wouldn't see it. I don't know, that's something that I would definitely do. I also gave them a leaning mirror here and then a couple of framed posters from Get Famous as well. Then they've got a hamper. There's a few different like shoes and things over on the side and just adding a few more posters around the space here. And then I clutter up the dresser a little bit more because I had this trophy, some like lotions and things like that. I also added a mug, which would probably be like really gross. And then and then there's like the books and stuff. And then this final room, this could be a bedroom if you wanted to make it into one, but I made it into an office, like a little teeny tiny office that I really, really liked. But that is pretty much it for the build. The backyard, by the way, I just put some trees because there aren't really that many winter activities to place outside. So you can add whatever you would like when the season changes. But that is pretty much it for the build. So I hope you all enjoyed this one. I cannot wait to hear your thoughts, and I will catch you next time I post a video, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
My only wish. I don't need a perfect snowman, and I don't need the bells and boughs, but I'll be home for you. I'll be home for you. Christmas lights, how they paint this town in colors, but they hold nothing next to you, 'cause you're shining like no other. Ooh, I don't want what's wrapped in